Lions TV, this is my second attempt at filming this video today. I tried to film it this morning and the battery went while I was sitting the other side of the camera and I didn't realise obviously, so I sat talking to myself for around 25 minutes, which I thoroughly enjoyed, but there is no proof it ever existed. So I've had to film it again, but let's not panic, let's breathe. We've got time to do it before the FA Cup draw tonight. This video covers Saturday's away trip, a 1-1 draw at Birmingham. I haven't done the usual intro. And am I going to mention it? Yes, I am. The reason I haven't done my usual intro is, and I found this very flattering, by the way, and I'm not moaning by any stretch, but I've come across in the last week a few channels, a few Instagram pages of young Millwall fans, obviously young Lions TV fans, which obviously I appreciate, but they're all trying to do videos where they act like me, they sound like me. One channel's outright copied the entire format of my existence. And has also decided to email my sponsors, you cheeky little fucker, and asking them to sponsor him. So maybe it's time to freshen up the intro. And until I come up with a better idea, for now we're just going to roll straight into Saturday's game. Another good point on the board on Saturday. We've walked away from there feeling a little bit frustrated, probably the majority of us, because it's a game we could and should have won. But that speaks volumes of where we are already as a team and as an expectancy level with our fan base under Gary Rowett. The team on Saturday, it was changed, it was tweaked. It was in my mind, a 4-3-3. Back in the day, you played 4-4-2, you had two subs and that was it, game on. But in this day and age, there's a 3-1-1-1, there's a 4-1-1-4. There's all sorts of formations. So my interpretation of our formation from Saturday was Bulkowski in goal, back fours as you were, obviously, other than Alex Pearce coming in for the injured Sean Hutchinson. Then I thought we had a midfield three of Sean Williams, Ben Thompson and Jason Malumbi. And then up front, I think we had another three with Matt Smith, obviously, as the target man, and Jed and Scalak switching wings, alternating wings, and feeding the big man so he can score, which he didn't. It was freezing. I'm trying to think of talking about the game. All I can think was, fuck me, it was cold Saturday in Birmingham. Possibly the coldest away game I've ever been to, second to the one where we won at Barnsley a couple of years ago where I drove up and Kieran slept the entire way. Ben Marshall stuck one in the stanchion for us. It was cold in Birmingham on Saturday. It was difficult conditions. And again, you've got to take your hat off to the manager who didn't rest on his laurels and wanted to win the game again. And the players who put in another solid battling performance. There was around 20 minutes on the clock, really, before anything of any note happened. We started to impose ourselves on the game. Starting Matt Smith, I still can't decide whether it was a good thing to start Matt Smith. Well, no, listen, sorry, I got that wrong. It wasn't a good decision to start Matt Smith. I said in the week, in a video during last week, that it's good that we found that bracket and that niche for Matt Smith in our side, and he's a nice chink to our armour, he's a nice string to our bow to have as an impact substitution, and then Gary Rowett shits on exactly what I've said and starts him. I didn't agree with starting him. I don't think he's a starter. But then I didn't agree with starting Bavardson at Swansea either over Bradshaw on both occasions. And on both occasions, we picked up points. Good points as well. Good amount of points and good results. So, listen, let's lean on Gary Rowett now. Let's not let me second guess every decision he makes. Let's just roll what the gaffer's doing because, as I said so far, in my opinion, he knows absolutely what he's doing. And I love what he's saying after the games. Just watched a brilliant interview this morning. 6 minutes worth on the club's official Twitter page, and it'd be good if they can pump more stuff out like that with Gary Rowett. He's a good manager, and I like the way he comes across, especially very very much so. You know, considering our previous manager, and I wasn't really on board with the things that he was saying post match. I love what Rowett's saying. I love what Rowett's doing. The only thing for me is I wouldn't have started Matt Smith up front. Now Matt Smith, okay, he might have 90 minutes in his legs, but for me, if you're playing one up front and a target man. Matt Smith is a target man, but he doesn't make the ball stick. What he does is he wins headers. He doesn't hold the ball up. He doesn't stick, which it lets other players join in the play from deeper. And so it was a mistake to start him for me. He didn't win a header till the 31st minute. This is not the Matt Smith show, by the way. But Lee Chitty actually kept counting. He didn't win a header till the 31st minute. When he did win one, he won 4 or 5 in a row. And you can see, contrary to what I've just said, as I said, this is a fan channel and I will show both sides of the coin. You can see what Rowett was attempting to impose there. Scalak and Jed buzzing on the wings, lively, crossing over, sticking crosses in for him. And it's where the first real chance of the game come from. Jed puts in a brilliant cross. And again, I've seen reports this morning that Aston Villa are interested in Jed for £10 million, which I may or may not cover in a separate VT. I was on Jed Wallace's performances earlier in the season, and I felt rightly so. And you know, under Rowett, he's completely rejuvenated. He's been sensational. And again, in the first half on Saturday, Jed was a class above everyone else on the pitch. Birmingham had a very good player in their side. And I don't usually notice other teams' players, but the 17 was very good for them, pulling their strings in the centre midfield. But Jed was just, again, it was like watching kids' football. Just overrunning everyone, just full of energy, quicker than everyone, sharper than everyone. And it's through Jed's brilliant left-footed cross that Matt Smith, and for as much as I've maybe buried Matt Smith in the early part of this video, Matt Smith couldn't do any more than he did, in my opinion. It was a brilliant header. And speaking as someone who used to play and go, as you know, because I don't mind blowing my own trumpet about I used to be a goalkeeper, Matt Smith does everything right. Goalkeeper's worst nightmare. Back across him, close to his feet, and it's very hard to kick your feet out of the way and get your hand down that close to your feet. And it was a brilliant save from the Birmingham goalkeeper, who impressed me massively, by the way. Very good goalkeeper as well for them. Birmingham, I don't know who he is, I don't know what his name is, but he was a fucking good cat, and he kept them in it in the first half. Not long after, as I said, he kept them in it. A good effort from Ben Thompson. Again, he makes a great save, the keeper. And we go in at half-time 0-0 again. And it's not just us as a fan base, or me personally. The club put it out on their official Twitter. We felt slightly aggrieved that we weren't in front. You know, the club said somehow we're level at the break despite all the chances we had. And again, we created chances and we had good possession, but we actually created clear-cut chances, which is refreshing. Sometimes, and it happened at Wigan at home on Wednesday or Tuesday, whenever it was, we had a lot of possession without creating any too many clear-cut chances. And at the weekend, I felt we created 4 or 5 clear-cut chances, which should be enough to win you a game, especially away from home in this division. We come out the second half and I felt confident. I felt we was going to go on and win the game, and it looked like that was exactly what we was going to do. Jed Wallace runs down the right. I felt Jed faded after that. Listen, it's understandable. The man's got ridiculous fitness and ridiculous pace and just ridiculous drive. So he's gonna falter out at points. But before he did die out the game, in my opinion, he creates that goal. He runs down the right and he sort of steps over the ball with his left, and he does like the instep with his right foot and switches it behind him and knocks it onto his left. And he sells defenders and midfielders and opposition players dummies for fun using that trick. And he sent the Birmingham midfielder so far out of the way. I think he's had to pay to get back in St Andrews, the geezer. He squares it to the wand. Sean Williams, out his body, opens up. Boom, thanks for coming. In real time, I said he stuck one in the stanchion, or in the top bin, I think I actually said. Real time, we're all jumping about. It's rising. We're right behind it. Mini-Me's got an hot chocolate on the go. He's trying to control the hot chocolate. I said, you'd have just gone, fuck off, boy, and launched it into the Birmingham fans. Probably not the best parental advice I've ever given, but yeah, it's 1-1. Sean Williams, what a strike. And again, the one for me is a very underrated player in this team. I get a lot of shit for my praise of Sean Williams. I base my praise for Sean Williams on this, and maybe I should explain it. He has been a very good servant for the club, a long-standing servant for the club who we paid a pittance for in terms of and in reflection of what we've got out of him as a player. So, you know, he isn't one of these players we've played 2 million for and hasn't done it. Or we've never played 2 million for anyone. We haven't paid $1 million for and hasn't done the business. Sean Williams come to the club a long time to go from MK Dons. It was between £10,000 and £30,000. I think we paid for him. I don't even remember what it was. I've only been going to Millwall all year, remember. But yeah, and the one for me thrives in Gary Rowett's side. After that, this is where I can't help but not dig Matt Smith out. But I've gone to the game, so I've got to tell you what I've seen. This is why he watched the channel. It's my opinion. Straight soon after that, we get a free kick, a great ball in the box. Matt Smith has just got to connect with a header. I don't know whether he went to connect and missed it, or he thought he was further towards the front post and he's tried to glance it into the far corner. Either way, he's got to stick it in the net, and we're 2-0 up, and it's more than likely job done, but you never know with Millwall. And he doesn't score it, and it goes wide. Then not long after that, ball over the top, a mishap at the back. Their goalkeeper, I think, may have fumbled, the only one he did in the game. And Matt Smith has just got he's on a 6-yard box. He's slightly wide, yes. He's just got to clip it left-footed into the goal. It's very fucking basic. It's very simple, but he's got no left foot. And he tries to come back on his right and play it back to someone. And it's 2 gilt-edged, great, fantastic chances for a centre-forward. You can't take every chance, but he's got to take one of them too. He has to take one of those 2 chances, and he doesn't. And as a result, we start to get leggy, which I feel is a problem for us. And I'm not one to speak, because I've just been in the shop and had egg, bacon and beans in the cafe this morning. But I'm not a young footballer in my 20s getting paid vast amounts of money. I don't know how it's happened, because we used to concede a lot of late goals under our former manager, but I don't feel that was down to fitness. I feel that was down to his substitutions and our lack of ambition. Now, somehow, maybe it's the transition between the new managers, and Rowett hasn't had the chance to properly impose himself on this side of things yet. But I feel fitness-wise, we are struggling. We struggled against Wigan at the weekend, and we struggled on last Tuesday, and we struggled at Birmingham on Saturday with legs. We're definitely struggling with fitness. So sorry, boys, if any of you are watching, the gaffer needs to get you out and get you running, because we're not fit enough as a side. And it's not as if, okay, we've had 3 games in a short space of time, but we utilise our squad well. We get players out on the pitch, we vary it. So it's not as if, a lot of those players have played 3 lots of 90 minutes, and you could see that Birmingham were slowly creeping back into the game, and you could see that the writing was on the wall. A lot of Birmingham fans feel aggrieved. They feel that we shouldn't be saying that we didn't deserve the win, and I think on chances alone, I would disagree with them. Balkowski's had 1 save to make in the first half, which he dealt with well, and other than the goal that they scored, which I'll get onto now, didn't have a great deal to do in the game. But as I said, we looked leggy, and again, I know I'll keep going on about Billy Mitchell, but we had no cover for midfielders on the bench. All 3 midfielders, Ben Thompson, Sean Williams, and Malumbi did well, I felt, but they just run out of steam, and we needed legs. And instead, we stick on Bavardson, O'Brien, and Bradshaw. But anyway, listen, let's get on to their equaliser first. Ball in, it's a weak goal. I haven't watched it back, to be honest, because I've been genuinely busy over the weekend. But from what I can remember, Lee Chitty was saying it was Murray Wallace's fault. I'll leave that one down for you lot to decide. But it was a free header, sort of edge of the box, 6-yard box. And it wasn't great. It wasn't great defending. But as I said, we just looked exhausted as a group. And after that, this is, again, what I've been praising Gary Rowett for. It looked like they could have won it, Birmingham. Mini-me's going, come on, we've got to win this. I said, no, we'll take a draw now, boy, because we're starting to look leggy. Gary Rowett, which is what I love about him and the difference between our old manager, he thinks the best form of defence is attack, and he sticks another forward on in Bradshaw. Frustrating that Bradshaw isn't starting games, but again, you can't argue with the outcome. 2 away games, 4 points against Birmingham and Swansea. The problem I've got is the midfield. The one small criticism. Billy Mitchell is there and he's ready to play ball. The gaffer said he's ready in an interview on the official club channel. So Malumbi, Thompson and Williams all did well, all looked fatigued. Thompson's obviously a new father. He's obviously having a few sleepless nights and finding what that's all about. Williams, I was carrying a knock anyway and was struggling a little bit, so he could have done with coming off. Malumbi, I like. Malumbi is at a good stage of his career, playing at a good level at the stage of his career he's at. The problem I have with Malumbi is, and I don't take this the wrong way, I like the way he switches the play. I love the way he switches the play, and that he's not afraid to open up and switch the play and keep the ball. But for me, he's too sideways and backwards. He's a little bit like Jason the Crab Malumbi. Crabs can only travel sideways and backwards, by the way. There you go, you learn something new every day. And I don't feel he has that intent going forward enough. I do like the way he keeps the ball, as I said. I do like the way he switches play left to right very quickly, but I feel he's too safe at times, and I would like to see him do a little bit more coming forward. But regardless of that, all 3 of them, any one of them could have done with a rest, and we didn't do that. We stuck on Bavardson, and I'm stuck Aidan O'Brien on left midfield, and I just feel that we needed more legs in the centre of midfield. But listen, having said that, it's job done. It's another very good point on the board, and when you walk away from that thinking we could have won the game, which I personally and a few others did, I was happy with a point, don't get me wrong. Would have bitten your hand off for it pre-match, but yeah, it just felt that we could have won the game. But there you go, it is what it is, and it's testament to Gary Rowett again that we're feeling this way coming away from games so soon after he's taken over, because he's still dealing with the same group of players that Neil Harris left him. Fuck, I've mentioned Neil Harris's name. I promised myself I wouldn't do it. Well done to the old gaffer, by the way. He's on fire at Cardiff. And long may it continue. I really genuinely mean that. He's doing well at Cardiff. 2 wins and a draw. So now I mentioned his name, I might as well get out of the way with. And I'm sure I'll still mention Neil Harris in every fucking video going forward. But is it a bad thing? Possibly not. He's etched in our memories, isn't he? He's etched in the club's history. So I'm just trying to give Rowett a fair crack at the whip and not boring you by keep talking about our old manager. But there you go. I've nearly got to the end of the video and I've mentioned his name. So well done, Neil Harris. Fair play to you, mate, on your current situation and results at Cardiff. We're getting back to us as a club. Yeah, I think it's testament to Rowett. I'm excited to see what he'll do in January in the transfer window. I'm sure he'll want to strengthen and get players in and out. I think it's going to be very difficult to get players out because, no disrespect to a lot of our players, I don't know who else would want them other than maybe looks like Jed could be on his way now. But, yeah, all in all, good point on the road. Happy with it. Moving forward as a club, we seem to have tweaked our way forward now. As I said, just fitness for me is a big thing that definitely needs sorting. But again, Gary Rowett's got time on his hands. He's saying the right things. He's doing the right things. And I think we've got a really good chance of progressing under Rowett. I really strongly believe that. And I think, and I don't want to tempt fate, because I know my fault we're not getting relegated now, and I'm not getting the fucking blame for it. Hashtag hate me. But I think we're going to be more than comfortable this season. I fully expect us to be safe by sort of February, March-ish. And if that happens, then it'll be good to bring in the Alexanders of this world, the Mitchells of this world, the Tienses of this world, and see what we can, see what they've got and see what we can progress with going forward as a club. But there you go. That is your 1-1 draw of the post-match analysis from Saturday at Birmingham. We are at home to Forest, aren't we, on Friday, which doesn't help anyone really, other than the Forest fans that can't be bothered to travel to London. It's not good for us because it will affect our crowd and our atmosphere. And I might even watch it on telly, if I'm honest. I've done a lot of travelling to away games lately. I don't miss many. And I do a lot of it, yes, because I love the club, but two, because I want to give you coverage if you're not there. If you're watching it on Sky, then that sort of makes me redundant a bit. I might even give myself a night off Friday and watch it indoors. What about that? I'm sure I'll get some hate for it, but I'll take it. Don't worry. So, before that, FA Cup draw tonight. We are ball number 27 in the draw. We'll get West Ham in the dummy run without doubt, and then we'll get Shrewsbury away in the real draw. But I might go live for that on Instagram or YouTube. I was going to go live on Patreon for it, but it's not worth going live to 23 people, by the way. If you haven't signed up to our Patreon podcast and our Patreon website, it fell a bit flat on its arse, to be honest with you. I thought he was going to do better than that, but maybe it'll be a slow burner like the channel. And the channel is doing well. We have just passed 11,500 subscribers. We're closer to 12 than we are 11. And I was aiming for 20k by the end of this season, but I'll take 15 now. We'll call it a draw at 15, eh? Anyway, I'm waffling, and I recorded this video twice, but I can't help it because I just fucking love the sound of my own voice. I might see you tonight on YouTube or Instagram for a live FA Cup third round draw. Ball number 27. West Ham away, please. Please subscribe to Lions TV. Come on, you Lions.